Hello and welcome to Music with Briley. Today we are working on a new track called Forest Mist, and sort of in a new DAW for me. We're working with Cubase. I've been keeping an eye on Cubase for the last year or so since I tried it previously, and despite having some setbacks initially, I decided I would give it another try, particularly for piano recording and possibly notation. I'm wanting to continue making piano music that's just like, one track. Improvisations and tempo mapping and chord extraction. Also then be able to write that to sheet music is a cool stretch goal. I've had a fairly good workflow with Logic for this, but there's just some weird gotchas in Logic and things like the sustain pedal, the way it's recorded, and the notation being really messy as a result. And a few other little things, little frustrations that added up. And so yeah, I'm going to try working here with Cubase. I'm also seeing it as a potential replacement for Bitwig. This is like not my main goal. I really like working with Bitwig, but just to put it out there, the Bitwig I've been using fewer and fewer of its power features, mainly the modulators, for parameter mapping, but my compositions have increasingly been moving toward automation and arrangement, and a lot will work with the piano roll editor. And Bitwig doesn't really shine in those areas. The arrangement and piano roll in particular aren't Bitwig's strength, although it did recently add chord and scale tracks, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, so I'm just going to see if this Cubase might strike the right balance between these DAWs and to unify my workflow. And I picked it up on offer. There's a sale, so it's not a huge setback. It's pretty powerful and polished, but it's, of the three, it has, I think, the steepest learning curve. So that's where I'm really kind of struggling right now. That said, I just want to give a little bit of background and for the record, why I'm back in Cubase here. And let's take a listen. So this is a piano recording improvisation. So another thing that I'd use with Logic is I record the piano to my tablet and then transfer it over to the computer. And the thing that with the piano recording, I just need the MIDI and the sustain information. And so I figured out that workflow with Cubasis. And one thing I like about Cubase is it supports standards like DAW project that are for interchange between DAWs, including Steinberg's own Cubasis and Cubase. But and supposedly DAW project is supposed to bring over the all of the MIDI information, including sustain. But somehow I got lost here, so I don't have my pedaling. I'll have to see if that was something I had done. I'm not really sure how that happened, but it's very possible that I accidentally did that. So that'll be the first thing I'll notice next. Another thing I really like is the track versions. You can keep a history of tracks. Changes, I can go back in time. I'll have to figure out how to do that. Like I said, something about Cubase is it's very powerful, but things aren't surfaced in intuitive ways sometimes. Like if I want to create a version of this track, I would want to probably click on a track, right click on it or something. Hijack picture though, yeah, I don't like this. Anyway, let's go back to it. So here's what I've got. So yeah, pretty cool. So it's clearly not piano. I think it's suitable for this album I'm working on, which is mostly electronic. One thing I've noticed is that the transients aren't very prominent. It's mostly the ambience. So I'd like to balance those by introducing another track from Mallets. Yeah, so yeah, there's some little things with just observations, but some like there's some like latency in clicking, and then I start to drag, and then it catches up. So that's kind of interesting. Also, I can see that they're trying to balance information density, but I had a heck of a time just finding out how do I change the instrument on a track. I had to figure that out. Like in Logic and Bitwig, it's pretty obvious that where the instrument is on an instrument track. It's like the top of the most element in the signal chain. But here, to get the signal chain, to see the full signal chain, you need to look at routing. In other words, by devices, not the full signal chain. Like that's the key, is the routing, and then the instrument is in here. It's like not even highlighted, so you have to really read carefully. There's no emphasis. This is the most important element in the routing, in my opinion. I come to the instrument all the time, MIDI inputs and channels and stereo, like the output of the routing, almost never. This, I believe, should be much more prominent and not nested underneath the routing. It should be in like a, basically in the signal path here on the chain. Maybe there is a better way of figuring that out, but anyway, so I'm going to add a mallet sort of transient here. Let's see what we can find. Because I haven't been heavy on sound design, which is one of the big strengths of Bitwig. I kind of, it's cool, but I like to more work on the arrangement. Typically, I find myself spending more time there with the harmonic material and sections and stuff. So let's go and solo this real quick and make sure it's... then I can bring my mix it can be a lot more compact, I think. Okay, what I'm realizing is that our levels are pretty low. 25 loves. So I'm going to bring these tracks up. Also, I put too many things on here, so let me see here. There's a way to configure these. So I don't need routing here. Create. This is one cool feature, the built-in channel strip on every track. And gain staging built in. All right, I think we're a bit better there. So yeah, just a little bit disoriented here and there, but nothing too bad. But this is nice, it keeps my sort of inserts more clean because I don't have to add a tool for gain staging or my channel strip plugins. It doesn't prevent me from doing that. But let's go ahead and here's the channel strip. This is cool. Turn that off. So if we listen to they're pretty nice plugins. So you got about 4 decibels of gain reduction there. For my low cut, I might not want a low cut. Oh yeah, I'm gonna switch to headphones here. I'll be right back. So yeah, I'd like to get into the mixing and mastering mindset, so let's head that way now that I've got the transients are restored. There's a sort of a natural side chaining effect because of the delay. Doesn't hold true always, but the delay in the pad. Yeah, so now we're sitting around more like 18 left, which is cool for the production. So yeah, that was handy. So I hit this to go to the channel strip, I would like to put a little bit of saturation on it. I could put a sidechain limiter on the pad. Won't quite work, I was thinking. Maybe a little bit of saturator on here. This could be expressed in kilohertz. I guess it's very precise. Do we need that precision? I don't think so. Let's try the tube. Okay, I like it. Yeah, I removed the Tiltify banner down there. It's not really getting traction, so it's taking up space, unfortunately. I'll figure that out another time, but yeah, now we can see the full screen. Also, because there's a lot more information at the bottom of the screen now. Cool. So I think the last step here is just to probably switch over to a mastering mindset. The mix sounds decent. So let's put on here ozone. Oops. Mastering. And we'll probably let it listen to. Interesting. Yeah. Something like around here. It's going to get louder here. Actually, this is a really loud part of the song. It's a bit long of a tail too, so this is all right sounding. So what I'm going to do is I think I'll put the end, and I don't have an arrangement, but I think we'll just use volume automation here, and we can end it maybe here. So let's go ahead and we use volume automation on both tracks. If I want it to end right here, we would need. Now here's what I'm wondering, can I, yes, of course you can. This is so important to do these curved automations. I'm thinking, yeah, just most of what I do in Bitwig, granted I don't know Bitwig super well, but I've been using it for a while now on several albums. I can do in Cubase. Particularly, again, as I'm going more towards these sort of long-form arrangement-based, and not so much like live performing or something like that, which is really a cool aspect of Bitwig. And hybrid electronic which does do a lot more on the timeline and possibly with even the sheet notation. So yeah, let's hear it now, just the outro. See what. Pretty cool, I like it. It's a short piece, just over 2 minutes, but it's a concept piece and more of like exploring this workflow. How's this workflow gonna go from end to end? Improvisation, a little bit of cleanup, tempo detection, some light quantization. I didn't do much here today on this track. I mean, maybe some sound design layering. Probably more arrangement, yeah. But anyway, for piano, I usually don't do much arrangement. So then a bit of mixing and master. So that's the whole workflow. And now we're gonna bounce. So how do we bounce? All right, so for this, I save the track. And it's into this file. Quick audio export. No, audio mix down. That's the one. Forest Mist is the name of the file. It's gonna get this stereo out. And it's doing based on locators here. I can also use Arranger. I'd like to be able to export in 32-bit float, but unfortunately, my distributor doesn't allow that. It does have FLAC support. Oh, I'm glad to see that. But not 32-bit. I'm not sure if that matters on FLAC. So I'd like to consider whether to use, and you can make presets. This is really nice too, so I don't have to keep tweaking or toggling all these settings. So it's in my mix down in the project folder. But yeah, that's all right. So here's the key thing. You can add components. And for each album, I have a naming convention. So let's just do the Spectra naming convention. So we're going to do free text. Drag that there. And then the name separator. How do I edit this free text so I can? Seems like I should be able to edit it right on this screen, right? I'm trying the same thing over and over here, but it's got a pencil. And it's literally putting free text there, so it seems like that would be what I would want to enter. This is like one example of the, I don't encounter these a lot with Bitwig and Logic, where there's just something I'm completely baffled by, like the user experience. Reaper, yeah, this Reaper is a mysterious, it's an advanced, very powerful, but the usability is very low compared to like Bitwig or Logic. So that's free text for the Bitwig naming scheme, where I'm having to refer to the manual almost. So that's the number of times I have to do a search or refer to the manual is a sign of usability issues. And certainly there's a learning curve, so I'm not saying like everything should be obvious, but something like this should be, I think, fairly obvious. Naming scheme window, click the naming scheme. Saving naming schemes, Wave Labs, external. Entering free text. You can enter free text that is added to the file name of the exported audio files. Prerequisite. The export selected file is open. The mixdown one track is deactivated. Procedure. In the export selected events dialog, open the naming scheme windows. Click the naming scheme. Open the scheme pop-up. Select the new scheme. Scheme. Double-click the free text attribute to add to the result field. In the result field, double-click the free text label and enter the text you like. Okay, yeah. Oh, that's what I was doing. I think I was clicking the pencil though. Okay. Yeah, I was literally clicking the pencil. I was double-clicking, triple-clicking the pencil and not the, okay, so that was, and I knew not to click it. But see, this is an icon that you click. And this looks like an icon I click. Okay, so it was sort of clearly user error, but sort of a usability issue. But I get it. You gotta have a drag handle as well. Which, actually, if I can drag there, I should be able to double click anywhere and get into edit mode. But anyway, I figured it out. I'm glad to have learned. Had to refer to the manual though, which is a sign of for usability improvement. Like, that's essentially what user experience designers do. When we're in that mode, we sit down with users and watch where they struggle. And that's usually a sign of something that can be improved. Okay, so we got our naming. Now the cool thing is here, I can reuse that naming scheme later. Saves me some keystrokes, then I just need to put the name in there. That's a cool feature, I like that. I just do one per album because it's got the album name in there. And I like FLAC supports and OGG support too, so pretty cool. So 24-bit wave, hopefully I'll be able to use 32-bit floating point at some point. Everything looks good, as far as I can tell. Let's see, now this is a very short piece. It's 2 minutes long, so it takes about half the length of the piece to export it. Overall though, I do like working with Cubase, and I see it as a good middle ground between Logic and Bitwig. It's got a higher learning curve, not super difficult, like it's lower than Reaper. I think if Reaper would just invest in some sensible defaults and having a, it's hard to do, but you know, it's like Blender. It's sort of like you can do so much with it, but the usability is super confusing. And I've bounced away from Blender so many times, and I'm just like done even trying ever again. Never, ever, ever, ever. sticking with music, stay in my lane. But yeah, you gotta have sensible defaults, and then like something suitable for new users. And I think that even the advanced mode in Logic, and in Bitwig's pretty sophisticated functionality, they're very accessible and user-friendly. So I think they've got that usability ethos. And I think Steinberg has the resources. They're probably putting a lot of effort into usability as well. But it does feel like a lot going on. You can hide things though, that's cool, that's cool. New concepts and concepts within concepts. Yeah, well, conception. Okie dokie, I think this has been another session, let's call it good. I like the dynamic tempo. This is cool, this is cool. It lets me quantize and just clean up a little bit. So thanks for stopping by. I'm going to take a quick break and then come back. We'll start a track from scratch. I'll do a piano track from scratch today, I think, and see if I can get it from improvisation through the stages to publication in one day. That would be super cool. That'd be a great workflow. So appreciate your time. I hope you're doing well and have a great day.